Hello and welcome to Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. Today's episode is going to be very relaxed. I have been under the weather this week. If you cannot tell by my voice, I probably sound a little bit different than not different, but like stuffy, and I can't really hear myself either. I'm wearing headphones. The past couple times I've recorded in headphones, but I have one ear off just to be able to make sure that I can I sound okay, because like I said, I can't really hear myself. I haven't really been feeling like myself this week because I have been sick, so I just want to give myself a little bit of time before I jump back into the deep stuff. So today we're just gonna have like a little chit chatty episode, kind of like we were on FaceTime together. This week I had received a really sweet message about my podcast, and that's the only reason why I'm even filming this week's episode, because I was just gonna be like, oh, there's not an episode this week, I was sick, but that one was like, okay, let's get back into it, we'll see how we sound. I'm actually recording on Saturday instead of Friday, which does give me a little less time to edit this podcast. I literally edited last week's podcast in 3 hours on a Monday and put it up Tuesday, so I think I'll be fine. So there's no trending topic for this week. I'm just gonna get right into the things I want to talk about today. Like I said, I just want it to be a super cool, casual, chatty episode, and just had a bunch of topics I had written down from things that either happened in the past week or things that I was just thinking about. Let's jump right into today's episode. My first topic that I want to talk about today is a little bit personal. As we just know, Valentine's Day just passed. I hope everyone had a lovely Valentine's Day. And it's going to correlate with the last topic I talked about in this episode, is that sometimes I personally forget this, that there's a person behind this microphone. I am a person. I'm not just a podcast host. I'm not just a robot that has to put out these episodes and talk about these things and have these great, amazing opinions that I do think I have. It's so much more than that, and sometimes I forget that. And like I said, the past few days I have been sick, and so that always makes my mental health just plummet to the deep, dark depths of hell. I don't know why, but it just does. Something about just not feeling like my normal self just throws me so much off my game. And I've never had a spectacular Valentine's Day. I've never experienced that. I've usually either always worked, because I used to work in restaurants, or I was single. So I've just never had that, been wowed, been in a great relationship to receive that. I've just never had that. But for some reason, this Valentine's Day, I was just so sad. I was so sad. And I'm going to say this, I think it's okay to be a little sad and a little bitter on my social media. It's my social media about Valentine's Day. I think that's okay. I think everyone wants us to be so, I love love. I love romance. I do love love. I do love romance. But sometimes pack it up. Just back it up, okay? I don't care today. I want all of you guys to be happy, just maybe on another day. Hate me for it. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I'm usually not as sad about Valentine's Day, but I was just really low this week. Just been having a hard week. But on a brighter side, I received the nicest message about my podcast this week. It moved me to quite literal tears this week. It was just... And I was just so down the dumps. Like I said, I was going to cancel that episode and just record a different week. But this message from the listener just reminded me, this is why you do it. Yeah, it's not monetizing and making money yet. That's something I do wish to accomplish, because that is such a great feat. Not being social media famous and starting a podcast and seeing it go that far, of course. But just having someone say you got me up today. You re-inspired me. You lit the fire up under my ass, like my mom would say. Having someone say that to you about just words I talk into a mic, I'm really passionate about these words I talk into this mic, but having someone say those things got me through, I'm journaling now because of you, all these things, it just lifted my spirits more than anything else could. And it really made me be why am I sad? Why am I down? Get the hell up, plan an episode, just keep it light, keep it fresh, and move on with your day. But I think it goes back to what I have said in past episodes. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to feel your emotions, and you have to just remember you're human. And I think sometimes I kind of forget that now, because I'm I'm doing this to reach such a larger scale, and sometimes you kind of have to take like the personal emotions out of it, and especially when you're talking about very serious things that I've gone through in life. I haven't explained my whole story yet, but I am talking about sensitive subjects for me. So sometimes it does get me a little down. I'm so thankful that if anyone is touched by an episode, you could be touched by the smallest thing I say, but like to have that, like that's why I do it. And it really helped me going, and I hope everyone can experience moments like that in life, in their job, with anything, with their job, or just, I just want people to have those moments where it's like, this is why I do it, because it's such a good feeling to have. It's a different kind of happiness and feeling that I could ever describe, and I hope everyone receives that one day with anything that you do. So let's get right into like the trending topics, stuff that I want to talk about, a lot of stuff that have happened this week. So this one's crazy. You guys, if you have not watched the Raven Ross on the Files, I think that's how you say his last name. It's Nick Viall. He was on The Bachelor. If you have not watched, I hope if you watch Love is Blind, if you for some reason have not watched Love is Blind or have not gotten to the end, you don't know, I don't know. I'm not going to go into too many details here. Actually, I'm not even going to lie. But if you feel like you have not been caught up on the Love is Blind thing, just skip this. Because I'm about to give spoilers for sure. I am baffled. I wasn't an SK fan to begin with. Like, I wasn't like super over the moon about the relationship. Like, some parts were cool, but I will say like Raven's friends gave him a lot of shit. And in the moment I was like, that's really weird, like that your friends are that negative about it. But they obviously got a vibe in person that we were not getting through the TV as like watchers of the show. And so I would love to like, and they might have been being extra for TV, but I would love to know like what they were thinking to be like, okay, we're about to blast this man on the show. So she gets on here and it's crazier than we could ever imagine, guys. I would have never imagined it was this crazy. I have been cheated on, and what always blows my mind about men who cheat are the men who can cheat but also still be in constant contact with the woman they're cheating on. Because you hear a lot of people say like, oh, he just like went ghost, I couldn't find him, I couldn't get up with him, whatever. But like, he was in constant contact, sending her pictures and stuff like that, and he was with other women while doing that. That stuff like that truly amazes me, not in a way of like, oh, cheaters are so smart, because they always get caught. Cheaters aren't that smart, but it's like, it amazes me how you can have like full blown like two separate lives. And SK was literally living two separate lives. Like, Raven really put it out there. He was living two separate lives. This man was, it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me how people can do that, because I don't have the capacity. Like, I could never be that person. I could never be balancing two separate people like that in the way he was. Like, you're taking two separate women on vacations. You're going on two separate couple vacations. Like, how do men do that? How do men balance that? Like, I would love to pick a brain of a man and see like how men do that. So, because it's like, it's just something I just don't understand. I've never been like, I'm not, like I said, I'm just not that person. I'm just not that person. And it just baffles me. Another thing that, when you want to talk about this grind my gears, like when I heard this, I was getting hot. To be transparent, I was listening to it while I was at work. This part, as a Black woman, was very hard to listen to, very hard to hear, and I felt very bad for Raven, and she was getting emotional during this part. And I mean, who wouldn't? You're trying to tell me SK was not attracted to Raven? Well, I get it. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's very hard looking back on a situation and coming to terms with the fact that you weren't that person's type. That person was playing the fuck out of you because you weren't even their type. They were stringing you along because you weren't even the type of woman that they want to end up with in life. And it's like, why? Why? I'm not what you see as a picture perfect when you're looking at wedding photos, family photos years from now. Why are you even entertaining it? I'd rather someone be like, I don't fuck with big girls. I'd rather someone just say that than stringing along and then make stupid little comments about how I look, instead of just being like, you know what, this isn't gonna work because you're not even my type. You're not even my type. I think the even crazier part about this is when we look at like it from a colorism standpoint, Raven is usually the type. Even Raven said it, like she's so used to men being attracted to her just for her looks. So it's like, Raven is usually the standpoint, light skin, curly hair, as someone who is not either one of those things or have been friends with women who are not those things. It's so crazy when it's like it's not even colorism. I don't know what to call it. Like, if you're a black man and you have a preference of white woman, I mean, that's a conversation for a different podcast episode. But to be the light skin, curly hair, like, type to colorism standards and being like, he still didn't like me, he still didn't find me attractive because what he really wanted was a white woman, that's insane. Like, y'all had to say, like, that's the part that just made my jaw drop. And I'm sure it was jaw dropping for Raven too, because like she said, she's so used to men going after her because she is attractive. She is the beauty standard when it comes to black women, you know? And I'm not saying that is the beauty standard. I'm just saying, you know, that's what black men tend to go for. Not all the time, but most of the time, like, there's very few black men who wouldn't say Raven is not their type, you know? So it was just crazy. Like, it was crazy watching that and seeing her, like, process through that as someone who's like, it's just the self-hatred of a black man when you come from a black mama to be like, I'm sorry, my type is just blue hair and blondes. Like, you're not attractive as a black woman because you're just not blonde hair, blue eyes. Y'all, I'm like rolling my eyes and I'm like getting angry, like talking about this. I was so angry watching it, and I don't want to go on a full-on rant on this episode because I could just go on forever, and I have so much to say about this topic and I should just do a whole episode on it. But it's just insane to me when you like break it down. Like, SK, have you looked in the mirror with your velvet wearing self? Have you looked in the mirror and you're trying to say Raven's not attractive? I should find you wherever you are and slap the crap out of you. Slap the shit out of you for saying that. Like, that's so insane to me. But if you haven't watched that podcast episode and you did watch Love is Blind, go watch it. It's called The Vile Files. It's his episode with Raven, and it's so crazy because he did an episode with Raven before, because I do like that sequel to the season. I don't know what's called on Netflix. So he has another episode with Raven where she's like, oh, we're so good, we're so great, and he plays it for her in the episode, and I'm like, God, how gut-wrenching would that be to like have to watch yourself talk about how great your relationship is and knowing what happened, like knowing after the fact what happened. Girl, I don't want to ruin the episode, but I know there's some of you guys who are not going to go watch. It's like almost 2 hours long, so I know there's some of you who are not going to go watch this man. I'm laughing because it's crazy. So in the sequel part of their season, I think it's called Love After the Altar. I could be pulling that out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. He proposes to Raven again. Like, huge scene, like the little light up letters that say, will you marry me? He proposes to Raven again. And so after all the cheating allegations come out, she's on a phone with the producer, and the producer was like, oh, I thought you knew. Like, I didn't think things were... The producer's basically like, I thought you knew that like y'all relationship wasn't as good as it really was, because SK had asked a producer, locked himself in a van with a producer, asking them to take out the engagement scene, like saying you gotta scrap the engagement scene. I was blown away when I saw that. I was mindfuck when I heard her say that he tried to take that engagement scene out. How bold do you have to be? And two, what would he have done? So because Raven basically thinks that the girl was like, I'm gonna say something to Raven. If you don't tell her, you need to figure something out. Like, I'm about to spill the beans. And that's why he was like, we gotta get this engagement scene out of here. So say in a perfect world, everything goes great. He doesn't get caught. When they were watching the Love After the Altar back and the engagement scene was in there, what was his plans? And like... And Nick Viall like has like girls on the show that he does it with, and that's what they were saying. They were like, what was his plan after the fact of like, hey, like when they're watching it together, and she's like, what happened to our engagement scene? It just was so crazy to me listening to that back, and I'm like, he really thought he was like the smartest man ever, and he just wasn't. It was just crazy. Did you guys know that multiple things have been shot out the sky over the past few weeks? No? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you all about it. So yes, multiple things have been shot at the sky in this past month, basically, you would say. On February 4th, they shot down the Chinese weather balloon. I'm saying that with quotation marks. So I was watching a podcast about this. Well, let me break it down in case you guys want to go listen to this after the fact, because I'm summarizing all of this. So my favorite podcast, Crime Weekly, they have a YouTube channel. So they do Crime Weekly news once a week. They only do it on YouTube. They don't do it on their podcast channel. And so they basically discuss like current events. And so, it's like these US fighter jets that like shoot the stuff down the system. But we also have like so many like radars and things that monitor like our traffic airways in the sky. All that. Basically, all the technology is so outdated. So they didn't catch this until it was literally halfway across the country, the continent. And so when they finally did, of course, they shot it down out of the sky. China was like, no, it's one of our rogue weather balloons, but like it got really far. What? So I think a lot of people are just gonna go ahead and assume like they were trying to spy on us and we didn't catch it. On the podcast, they're basically stating that since then, they updated their systems. How they updated their systems that quickly, couldn't tell you. But they updated their systems, and so they basically found 3 more objects and shot 3 more objects out of the sky. And they're like, oh, well, because we updated our systems, we were like, we noticed these more because our systems are now updated because of the Chinese weather balloon incident. So you're telling me stuff was flying around up there and you couldn't get to it because your systems weren't updated? That is crazy, y'all. That is crazy. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because this isn't like a mainstream topic. I mean, if you watch the news, you may know about it, or if you have other people in your life like me that find this stuff fascinating, you'll know about it. But to say that, oh, we only shot 3 more objects out of the sky because we updated our technology, so now we actually caught those objects. Sir, that does not make me feel any better. I believe in UFOs. I 100% believe in UFOs. If you think this universe is as vast and as big as everyone says it is, and don't believe in like other life on other planets and other universe, you're dense. I hate to say it, but you are extremely dense if you do not believe that. Hate me. Don't ever listen again, but you are extremely dense if you do not believe that. And if you're religious, I don't know if religious people listen to my podcast. My dad always says it like this: if God created Earth and all of this beautifulness and craziness that is the world and Earth and humankind, why would he not try to do it again multiple times? So that's even crazier way to look at it, I personally believe, than saying like the universe is so vast that there's probably other planets out there and like planets that support life, because obviously not all planets support life, but I don't know. So they're not saying much on the things that have been shot out of the sky, of course, because why would they? But that is interesting, and that's why I had to bring it up, because some crazy things have happened. Like, you had to think, like, I've talked about this before, Ukraine and Russia are literally at war, and then you have China like spying on us. I'm using air quotes, allegedly spying on us. That's insane, because I guess Russia and China are ally, and then like us in Ukraine are. So it's like, if you really look into that one is crazy. It just leaves the possibilities open for anything, which I don't like. The second thing this month that is scary. Now this is like, the second thing I'm about to talk about, this like keeps me up at night. I don't talk about this a lot because people just kind of look at you crazy, but stuff like this keeps me up at night, guys. So the derailment of the train in East Palestine, Ohio. Now this is huge. And if you're not paying attention to the story or keeping up with the story, I really recommend that you do. Like, this is the type of environmental stuff that scares the crap out of me. Like, I don't know if you know that movie with Julia Roberts where she was like the lawyer and she represents that town where all these like kids, family members, everyone was like dying of cancer because basically their water was polluted. That's what's gonna happen. Like, that is the situation they're talking about here. That's what they're saying could happen, is that like people have been complaining of headaches, rashes, their pets dying, their livestock, like they're worried about their livestock because of the groundwater. There's a video on the internet of someone taking a video of this river and the fish are just dead floating at the top. That is insane. And like, you had to think like, okay, does any of your produce, does any of your meat, like does any of your food or anything that you consume come out of East Palestine, Ohio, or that region, or places that groundwater could affect? Like, that when you think about the trickle down of like an incident like that, it is insane. It's real life scary, acid rain kind of scary, because so it was like various different hazardous materials on the train, and they did a controlled explosion to burn off vinyl chloride. There's a video of this guy outside and it's cloud, like it looks like a stormy, cloudy day, No, that is the burn off from the explosion. So yeah, that's acid rain scary. That is if the perfect conditions just happened to mix, and it did happen to rain. It would rain through those acid clouds first, those chloride clouds first, and then rain down on Ohio. That is scary. I don't like it. Please stay up to date on this. Please, I'm sure I know how most of my listeners vote. But if you're not voting for people who care about the climate and care about climate change, climate control, and not only that, like environmental cleanups and keeping what we do have safe from big companies that just put chemicals out there and don't care, you gotta reevaluate. You have to reevaluate. It's more than I'm liberal and I'm conservative. It's, do you care about this planet? Do you care about this planet? Because big companies are great, they whatever, but like, how do they dispose of these chemicals? It's a whole thing, and I will go on a just complete tyrant about this, so I'm not going to. But please keep up to date on this. So I just wanted to touch on that in today's episode. On to our next topic. This is lighter. Well, it's not lighter, but it's not about the world ending. I could talk about the world ending all day, but I know not everyone is into that type of stuff. So I fell down the Reddit rabbit hole the other day because I watched a podcast. It's called Probably Podcast with Shannon Ford. You want to know y'all want to hear something crazy? So I watched Probably Podcast with Shannon Ford, and they were talking about how she was on a reality TV show, I think. I don't know. And so I looked her up because I was like, how old is she? That girl's 29 years old. And we had the exact same birthday. Isn't that crazy? And we kind of have similar personalities. Like, I feel like she'd be really cool to hang out with. But I figured that out, and I was like, isn't that crazy? But I was watching her podcast the other day because, so I have YouTubers that I watch that are just like mindless, like good fun. I probably would never buy something they like recommend or anything like that. Like, they're just mindless. They have nice vlogs, kind of longer vlogs. So it's just, I am a Gen Z in the way of like, I am a tablet kid. I don't know why, because I didn't grow up that way, but I am a tablet kid. So I kind of constantly have to have background noise. So I watch a lot of YouTube, listen to a lot of podcasts. So she had on Danielle Carolyn and Brooke Miccio, and I watched both of them. And so they were talking about their Reddit pages. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm about to go on Reddit and see what they're talking about, because they were all talking about how bad it was. I'm just going to say this one thing and leave it at this. If you go on the internet behind a fake like picture, animated picture, avatar, I guess that's what they're called, and talk crap and say god awful things about people you have never met and will never meet from the internet, you need to seek help. You need help. You need to go outside and touch grass and then get a fucking grip. That is so insane to me. There was this one page that was just like post after post after post of just like analyzing what these people are doing and what they're posting. And like, okay, so these two have a podcast together, and he was like, they were like, it's so clear that they don't like each other. It's so, and they were like, it was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. I could not imagine sitting behind a computer or my phone all day, just like talking crap about people I don't like. SK is different because he's a terrible person. And I would say that to my chest and say it to his face. But it's like, I would never just sit behind a fake page, or not even like a fake page, but like you have no identifying factors of yourself on that page, and just talk crap about influencers and YouTubers. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't care that much. Like, I don't think anyone should care that much. Like, I'm not talking about like the people who are terrible people. Like, there are influencers out there who are so clearly terrible people, but these two girls are just living their best life. Like, they make a ton of money from YouTube. They've been on YouTube for years. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if they post a bag or say this about each other or do this to each other? Like, why does it matter? I'm too grown. I'm 29. I'm too grown for that. So I think we just all kind of need to get a life, honestly. Well, not we, because I don't do that. Y'all who do that need to get a life. So that was my 2 cents about that. I've never really gone on Reddit before. I know, and it's sad because I know Reddit is used for a lot of good things. Even the girls on the podcast are talking about it, and they were like, I've gone on Reddit for good things, but I would never read like Reddit threads about myself because they're just terrible. And that's just so insane to me. It's just, it blows my mind. And I know a lot of true crime content creators use Reddit just because it's kind of nice to see like theories that are online. I don't know. I feel like it could be a really cool platform, but any platform where you give an opportunity for someone to just talk crap behind an avatar or behind a fake username, it just... So you see it everywhere. That is it for this week, guys. That is all the topics I wanted to cover. Let me know if you like these like chatty, just like random chatty episodes. I would definitely do this again. I think sometimes it's nice to take a break from what I normally talk about. So I'm definitely going to be throwing in more of these episodes that are just kind of random, but let me know if you like this style, because I always do a trending topic and like things that I see on the internet. I always talk about something like that, but I like having a whole episode of it. It just makes me feel like we're on FaceTime together and I'm just doing all the talking. You kind of get a glimpse of like what's going on inside my head all the time. So this is it. But so I did take video clips. Hopefully some of them work out. If you want to see those, my Instagram page for the podcast is istm.podcast. That's the Instagram page. My TikTok is just my name. You can just search my name, Deidra, Deadra, to find me on TikTok. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get right into our song of the week. I'm switching song of the week up on you guys. I've switched this whole episode up, but I was like talking about this artist the other day and I was like, it's so crazy how good this artist is, and I don't think he gets like his flowers enough. So it's just going to be an artist. All of his music is good. Quite literally all of his music is good. So definitely go check him out. It's Vince Staples. When I tell you this man had 2 back-to-back albums with 0 skips on both of them, I think there may be like a couple interludes or something that I skip, but no skips. It's one album is his self-titled album, Vince Staples, and the second one is Ramona Park, Broke My Heart. Both classics. They're both classics. This man needs his flowers. He needs all the awards. I can't wait to see where he goes from here, because I mean, he's probably been doing this for years, but I think he's still relatively new. I say that with quotation marks. But yes, definitely check him out. I'm the perfect writing music. Perfect. It's like soft rap. I don't know how to explain it. It's definitely rap music, but it's not like 21 Savage, Drake rap music. It's good. I don't know. Go check him out. Vince Staples. Hope he goes very, very far. He's such a good artist. Love his music. No jingle. I was gonna try not to say it, but I have to say it. Still no jingle for Song of the Week. But thank you for sticking this far into the episode. So that is our artist of the week, Vince Staples. Again, like always, thank you guys so much for sticking around for another episode of Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. It was so nice. I'm so glad I didn't skip this week. Again, I hope you guys like this little chattier episode. It's a little different than normal. You can tell I'm getting more stopped up and I need to go home and take medicine. But I love you guys. And as always, I will see you next Tuesday. Please do not forget to like, download, play on a super low volume multiple times, review 5 stars only. Please and thank you. I love you guys. Be happy, be safe, and until next week. And I will see you again on Okay, I Said Too Much.